Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope you're having a good morning. I want to sit down here. I want to have a cup of coffee. Hope you have something to get your morning started. I've got a little bit of daylight breaking this morning. It's time to get going. I got a hat and a little neck thing on because it's a little cool out this morning. Around 66, 64, somewhere around there. So that's a little cool for me. I'm a wimp on temperature. My wife is adjustable. She gets cool during the day and then she becomes like on fire at night. So it's weird. I was going to talk a little bit about we talked about education and we're going to talk about something else like healthcare, but uh, I wanted to talk a little bit about uh, a common thing that's used in describing things that are or people that are that really get going and it kind of spoils things. You've seen them. There's like somebody that comes to a party and they're either really loud or uh, really drunk or something. And you have to um, avoid them or just leave the party because they just made it so harsh. Happens on a lot of social platforms nowadays. You'll have people that are everything they say is horrible. Either they have a really dark view of the world or they have a bone to pick and they have that's all they want to talk about. Some people nowadays call them toxic. Uh, my parents used to use the phrase, they're a bad apple or rotten apple because they've spoiled the bunch. And I'm not saying you should even engage with people like that. If they're being that way or doing things that way, I I don't suggest you try to convince them that they're being that way. Don't try and uh, support them for being that way. I'm just telling you, maybe you shouldn't interact with them in that way. You say, Glenn, well, that's great, but what if it's my mother? What if it's my boss? You know, that's that's a really tough part. Man, Lynn wants a lot of balls thrown today. That is really tough. I've been in that situation. And I'm going to tell you a story that I'm very sad about, that is a poor thing about me. And I hope you learn from my failure. I was on a train ride, and the way the trains, I was going to be on a long train ride, and the train was going, so a long train ride, but I was going to be I was usually you sat down during the train ride. You didn't have assigned seating, so you can move, but it's a pretty packed train, and the train had a lot of people on there, and my wife and my kids were sitting in a different area. They were taking a nap, and I went down to and sat in another area. I was looking out the window there, and a lady sat down next to me, an older lady, like very old, like probably at least 70, maybe more. I mean, she had trouble getting around. And she sat down, and I introduced myself and said hello and stuff like that. So she move, move, Loon. Oh, she's gonna grab it. Sometimes she leaves it for me, sometimes she grabs it. 70 years old, sat next to me, introduced herself. So we started doing a little bit of banter. Nothing heavy, like where are you from, where are you going, blah blah blah. Little chit chat. At some point, the lady started being racist. She wanted to talk about Hispanic people. And I'm sitting there, I'm listening to her, and I didn't say anything. I just looked at her and said, well, yeah, whatever. I didn't want to about piss her off. I didn't want her getting upset. I didn't want, so I just sat there and listened and said nothing. At the next train stop, everybody kind of got up, and there was a young gentleman who was in the seat right ahead of us. Seats were fairly big. You didn't see very much. They're pretty comfortable seats, almost like uh, lazy boy type things where you had a big cushion in the back, so it's hard to see any of your other people ahead of you, behind you. And he got up and he told her off, told her he was Hispanic. He worked hard. He loved his family. He loved his wife, and it was wrong of her to describe Hispanic people in that way. I felt really bad for myself because I didn't agree with this woman at all. And I was not going to change her, and I was not going to do anything to make her see things differently because I have a strong belief that barring some intervention, a lot of people will never change their outlooks and stuff like that. I think it's possible. I just didn't think I could do it on a train ride. That may be inappropriate. That may be something that I need to work on. But what I did learn from that error in my judgment was it's okay, even if they're like that, to just say what you think. You can say it as a joke. You can say it as a quiet statement. I should have said, and this is what I really believed. I'm like, well, yeah, there's some people that are that way, but some of the most romantic, hardworking people I know are Hispanic. Yes. And I didn't have, I could have just said that. Just said it would have made probably no difference to her, but it would have been at least something comforting to him. He would have heard her saying stuff, but he would have also heard me saying something positive. See, you didn't need my help. You could get that ball there yourself. So, what I tend to do with toxic people that I can't just move away from is I don't tend to confront them, say, no, you're wrong, you're an idiot, you're stupid, or something. I don't do that. But what I do say is facts back to them. And the fact is, like with that lady, I did know wonderful people. One of my favorite stories was we used to joke with a friend of mine at work. He is from Nicaragua, and he was in love, and so he came and told us that, yeah, I proposed to my wife. We were like, oh, that's awesome. How did you propose to your wife? He said, I took her to Disney World in Orlando, and at midnight they do the fireworks. And just as the fireworks are hitting their maximum crescendo and everything was lit up, I got down on my knee and I said, would you marry me? And me and the other guy looked at him and said, oh man, you screwed up. He's like, what? I was like, that's like out of a fairy tale proposal. You're not gonna run? Here you go. Ah! We said that that's a fairy tale proposal, man. What are you gonna do from here? How are you gonna top that? And the I had uh proposed to my wife. It was my actually my first wife there. I had proposed to her while she was doing a babysitting job. Yeah, she was sitting somebody else's kids when I proposed to her. And the other guy, he says it was at a drive-through. He was at a drive-through when he proposed to his wife. And we were able, see, but from there, it's been all uphill. Gotten better and better. It's like, her expectations were low, and now we built on them. Like, dude, you're screwed. He was he was so romantic. He was a kind guy. Oh my gosh, I loved him. He uh, he used to. So my last name is Graham. So my nickname at where I worked was Cracker. And we went to a party event, and when we were leaving the party event from work, well, it was a work party event. And when we were leaving, I saw him and his wife, and he yells over to me and he says, "See you, see you next week at work, Cracker." His wife punches him in the shoulder. Don't say that. No. He's like, no, 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 that's not what I meant. I meant he's he's Graham, like the cracker, the graham cracker. So he was great. He was funny. He was hardworking. He's smart too. Smart guy. Knew like three languages. Spoke Spanish, German, and English. Oh, oh, go get it. Slipped out of my hands. It's so slimy. He knew German because his parents sent him to a school in Nicaragua that was run by German uh, outreach uh, priesthood. And oh, she didn't see me. It's right here. I had to get Luna's ball. She couldn't find it. Uh, so he learned German while he was there at that school. Wonderful guy. So I could have just told her about my experience with him. He's a great example. There's lots of other ones that other examples I could have given her. It's a fact. It's a fact that even if she says I'm wrong, I go, it's a fact. It's my personal experience and it's real. You can't deny it. It's not my opinion. It's not some talking points from some doofus or doofette, whatever. It's a fact. I love that guy. I loved being around him. I loved working with him. I loved everything about him. That's a fact. And if I had explained just that one fact when she was mentioning things she didn't like about his back, it would have made things a little bit different. So if you can't get away from somebody that's toxic, or you can't walk somewhere else, give them a fact. Give them something that you know is true, and just leave it. It's not always the easy case. That one, 2020 hindsight, I should have said that at the time. All I wanted to do was get to the destination, leave this woman behind, and go somewhere. And not always easy to do stuff like that. I've had some bosses that talk about other weird stuff that has to do with conspiracies or stuff like that. And you go, whatever. Yeah, sure. No. Hard to get around those things. But anyways, the sun is up. My dog is happy because I've been throwing her balls. Hope you have a wonderful day and use those little facts in your life. And when people are toxic to you, give them a little fact. It's not going to change their opinion. You're not going to save their life. You're not going to push them into a different realm. Maybe you will. I mean, there's possibilities. I've seen stranger things in my life. I want to think about that next time we talk. Have I ever seen somebody that's really flipped them? I do. I have an example like that. I'll save that for next time. Perfect. What good way to end. You guys have a wonderful day. Hope you have lots of great experiences and lives and everything else. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.